hold on. I swear to God, I've been to Las Vegas many times. I'm a card shark.
Are you trying to mark cards again so you can cheat?
Never mind. Hello, welcome aboard USS COD. We're in the wardroom. I'm COD Director Paul Ferrace. And obviously, I am not a card shark. But here I am with a poker deck. I got my poker chips. And COD, as they say, was a poker boat. And we have a great shot picture of the famous poker game on our last patrol with Captain Edwin M. Westbrook, seated where I am, losing as the entire wardroom is losing their shirts to gunnery torpedo officer Chuck Podorian, who apparently was a riverboat gambler in a previous life. But they're playing poker. But the other famous submarine card game, particularly for wardrooms, was a game of cribbage. Now, cribbage is a more genteel, sophisticated game where basically you deal cards. It's generally used played with two people. You can play with more, but it's ideal game for two guys or two officers, and that's going to be more popular, particularly in the early days of World War II submarine campaigns, because COD's first patrol, we have 7 officers. And with watch rotation, maybe only 2 officers are going to be available at any one time for recreation to play cards, because 2 of them are going to be asleep, 2 of them are going to be on duty. So, yeah, a game that is played primarily by 2 people is going to be an ideal game for the wardroom. Now, in cribbage, the players are dealt hands, and I am not a cribbage player, but I did Google it. Basically, each hand you try to get 15 points, and the winner is the first guy to get 121 points. Now, this is a commercial, more modern cribbage board, little wood. This is your scorekeeper, and you have little pins. In this case, they would be little plastic pins for you to keep score. Start for the 2 players, start and then game over. So I guess you move the pins as you get points, and the winner is the first guy to collect 121 points or earn 121 points. But you think they're going to use this on a wardroom, on a submarine, especially submarines built by electric boat? No. The shipyard would produce custom cribbage boards, and this is where we can insert the cribbage board that's on display at the Pacific Submarine Museum in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. Our friends there have just a fantastic collection in their museum, and they have Char's, I believe it's Char's, we're going to insert that picture. They have Char's custom-made cribbage board, but it's Char after the war. These cribbage boards that were built by the shipyards were aboard when the boats were put in commission. And of course, the famous game of cribbage was the one played on Oahu by Commander Dudley Walker Mushmorton and Dick O'Kane, his XO. And I guess apparently they had a perfect hand or something. It was, again, I'm not a cribbage player, but it was such a spectacular hand that everybody present playing signed a card, and they have that hand of cribbage, those cards on display in their museum in Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. So of course COD and all those beautiful fleet subs had their own custom-made cribbage boards, and this, I am happy to say, is one of them from World War II. It's a beautiful piece of wood, stained. You can see that's a nice thick piece of brass, and it's inscribed USS Boarfish. Now, Boarfish was a fellow electric boat, fleet boat. I believe she is a Baleo class. Now, here are the pins. I guess this is the starting line. And of course, the pins that keep score are just like this cheapy one from some dime store. You know, here's the the little slot for the pins. Now I got to tell you, when I got this at a thrift store, there were plastic pins in here, but this was available for the public, and so somebody stole the little plastic pins. I hope they rot in Parma. Anyway, this is the hidden trap door for the pins on these. Now check these bad boys out. On the cribbage boards used aboard submarines in World War II, the pins were deck gun shells. And again, I'm just going to insert these in here willy-nilly. They're not torpedoes. Some guys told me they remembered them being torpedoes. No, they're deck gun shells. But yeah, there are your deck gun shells. And now there are 2, 4, 6. So I think that's about the maximum with a 52 card deck that you're going to be able to play. Generally, it's 2 guys. And, when they say some boats were cribbage boats and some were poker boats, I think it was really a matter of how many officers are available for a game. If you've got the picture, if you have a lot of guys in the wardroom, yeah, you can break out the poker kit and you can play poker if you got enough guys. But if you just got a couple of guys, and again, more genteel, refined officers from the academy, cribbage is going to be the game you want to play because you can keep your board, between hands. If you need to run up and sink a Japanese carrier, come back and pick up your game. But yeah, so this is boarfish, and this comes to us through eBay. Now, what happened to CODs? Well, we know what happened to COD's cribbage board. It remained aboard the sub here in Cleveland, came to Cleveland with the boat in the wardroom, and then in 1962, a yeoman who was in the reserve crew, he was on the reserve center here, Mr. Bob Wharton, happened to find it and thought that, you know what, that's a heck of a souvenir, and it went home with Bob Wharton. Bob Wharton talked like that. He was a dear friend. I met him a couple of times when we helped the formation of the USS COD base in the late 90s. But anyway, Bob Wharton, made my mouth water. I was drooling as he told me about the COD cribbage board. It said USS COD, and I don't know if he mentioned dolphins. I know we have some others in our collection that have dolphins, but those were made as gifts by the captains at the end of the war to distribute to their XOs or their wardroom. So there are a number of cribbage boards, but this is the cribbage board gifted to COD by Electric Boat Company, as is this, although I don't know the provenance of this. It says USS Boarfish. Because it doesn't have names and things on it, it leads me to believe this was the official Boarfish cribbage board. Now, maybe because Electric Boat was so busy cranking out submarines, they neglected to put Electric Boat Company or, Good Hunting on it. But there it is. Now, what happened to ours? Well, Mr. Wharton took it home, and I don't know if he was a cribbage player, but in the late 90s, as we were organizing and standing up the USS COD base chapter, he told me that he had it, and I said, wow, wouldn't that be great? And he said, well, I said, wouldn't it be great if you maybe returned it to the boat? We could have it on display. And he said, well, I'll think about it. It's a family heirloom. And well, we bid our time and twiddled our thumbs. And sadly, over the years, Bob Wharton's health deteriorated and he's no longer with us. So my plea is to the Wharton family, if you still have the COD board, we could certainly use it. This I acquired as a placeholder until we get the CODs back. But this is one of those really kind of important little things. We're going to memorialize Boarfish, again, a Vallejo class boat. Very late in the war, she got out. I don't know. We'll have to do a little investigation. She wasn't, a 100,000 ton boat. she certainly had a career after the war, I gotta believe. So, by the way, this is the gaming felt. You didn't play cards on the vinyl, or certainly not white linen, because you could stain it with body oil and cigarettes. But you would put down your gaming felt, and gaming felts were generally green. I am told because you didn't want any shiny surface that could reveal if you're holding your cards. It wouldn't reveal what you were holding if you looked at the reflection down there. I don't know. That's just what I was told. But anyway, Evan, you want to play some poker? It was payday the other day, and Daddy's got to buy some new shoes for the kids. So let's play a game of poker. If you're a submariner and you've got a cribbage story, or perhaps where your sub's cribbage board ended up, let us know in the comments. And certainly comment with your thoughts. And I'm going to stow this away because, frankly, card games, even sophisticated games like cribbage, can lead to hard feelings in the wardroom. And that was actually one of the warnings that I heard when they were training officers. They said, be very careful with your card games. And why generally games of chance were discouraged among the enlisted men, because you might lose your holdings, and you don't want to borrow money from shipmates. That was bad for crew morale. So we are going to keep this locked up someplace before we put it on display in a secure place. I'm going to put our bullets away. Thanks for joining us. Tune in next week. Remember, hit like, subscribe, notification bell, and we'll be back with some bloodthirsty submarine stories in the future. Thanks.